Chapter 34. Sunday dinner. By the way, you haven't told me what happened yesterday yet.
No, I haven't,
she replied, while finishing drying herself off. We had come from the beach and taken a quick shower to wash off the salt from our bodies. Meanwhile, I had finished drying myself off and remembered.
Let me just finish drying my hair, and I'll tell you.
Okay, I'll wait, I said, heading to the laptop to write a bit more. This afternoon had been absolutely fabulous for me, and I wanted to record all these impressions while they were still fresh in my memory. I wrote quickly, trying to capture everything, but I knew that no matter how hard I tried, the words would always fall short of the lived reality. The difference between the words I was writing and everything I had experienced was truly immense, to the point where I almost felt like seeking a new vocabulary where words could carry sensations. For me, as a writer, this moment was frustrating. Frustrating not because the words weren't right, but because I clearly realized that they were empty of feelings, and therefore also of meaning, and therefore nothing of what I had done so far made sense. And all this, instead of depressing me, made me want to laugh out loud. So much so that I started laughing, quite loudly.
What are you laughing at?
She asked from the bedroom. At nothing. Absolutely nothing. I think I'm losing my mind, that's all.
Why?
She asked again, amused, as she joined me. I explained what had just crossed my mind. She laughed too.
You know, you're absolutely right. But even worse, imagine if your words were translated. Besides having to deal with the interpretation of the final reader, you also have an intermediary who is never impartial.
Yeah, that's even worse.
And now imagine that in a sacred text, like the Bible, for example.
I suddenly fell silent and saw the seriousness of the issue. And I saw the divisions within the same religion because of things like a comma, misinterpretations, untranslatable words from one language to another. She looked at me, amused.
You got there, didn't you?
I think so. Given that sacred texts are translations of texts that exist in dead languages, they are completely full of inaccuracies and errors.
Yes, that's right. Even if the original could be the word of God, the truth is that it wasn't God who wrote or translated it. Even if that was the reality, the truth is lost beneath all the interpretations. It's gone.
In that case, sacred texts don't make much sense. She smiled.
At least they are something. A part, but it's better to have just a part than nothing. At least they give hope to those who believe, and hope is the most precious thing a human being can have. When it's gone, everything is lost.
I stopped to look at her and pondered the meaning of the word hope and everything it carried. Within it, hope, what made us endure everything and sometimes forced us to transcend ourselves. And I saw the meaning of the scriptures, the message and not the words they relied on to convey it.
But do you want to talk about more mundane matters?
Like what?
Last night's dinner. Weren't you curious?
I was, and tell me.
Okay, but only because you're asking.
She laughed.
Laura arrived first, not long after you left. She was distraught, not knowing how to deal with the situation. We talked for a while. We went to the kitchen and prepared dinner while talking. The little she had talked to Enrique was not good at all. She was very worried about what the future held for her. Without his support, she said, I don't know how to carry on with my life. I tried to calm her down and told her that everything would be okay. I asked her what she had told Enrique about us. She told me she had told him that she met me at the bar, not you. It was easier for him to accept that things were that way. If she had told him that she had been with you, he wouldn't have accepted it.
I understand, you know. I don't think he has much respect or very strong feelings for her. To be honest, I think she did well. It's easier for him to accept that she had a few drinks too many and was seduced by another woman than by another man. His pride would have taken a much worse blow.
Of course. I understood her too. Then she told him about the night she spent here. and he even seemed excited about the story, asking her lots of questions about me. You know, I think he somehow convinced himself that she owed him a certain reciprocity. And that I owed it to him too. It was he who convinced her to organize dinner with us.
I already suspected something like that.
Yeah. What you don't know is that when you left, he made all possible conjectures and wasn't bothered in the least. Quite the contrary.
Yeah, I didn't know, but I also suspected.
The fact that I rejected him left him burning, as I already told you, and Laura told me that much of what they had talked about during the day were threats. He was completely arrogant with her.
He's completely arrogant with the world, I said with a smile.
Yeah. But then he arrived and tried to behave like a gentleman, as if nothing had happened. I did the same, and we had dinner in a somewhat tense atmosphere because of the circumstances, but somehow cordial.
And what did you tell them about my absence?
I told them I didn't even remember you had a commitment, and you were sorry you couldn't be there.
You did well. That way no one felt offended.
Yeah, it was a good way out. Later, after dinner, he went straight to the point for which he was there, without beating around the bush. I think if Laura went to bed with you and Miguel, at the very least you should be with me and her too. But you should have seen the arrogant tone in which he said this.
And you?
Me? I told him I would even do it, but never without you being present, which led to the invitation for tomorrow night. I know it's somewhat distant, I told him, but on the other hand, it's also extremely discreet. He accepted and left immediately afterward.
And Laura?
Laura stayed a little longer. She was more at ease, but still didn't know quite what to say.
What did you tell her?
That everything would be okay after Wednesday's meeting.
And do you think everything will be okay?
I'm sure.
I had a strange impression when I heard this answer, but I didn't dare to question it.